Hello, welcome to another episode of the BombCast. Today I am joined by Karin Carr, who is joining us all the way from Georgia, and we are so excited to have her today. Karin was actually one of our up-and-coming all-round video influencers this year in the Real Estate Video Influencers Guide. So welcome, Karin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for asking me, and thank you for including me in that guide. I had no idea I had even been nominated until you told me I made it. So it was really, really exciting for me.
Awesome. Yeah, it's fun. Have you gotten some buzz from that nomination or from the guide?
I have. Heck yeah. I mean, I've got some serious bragging rights now that I can say I was nominated for that.
Heck yeah. Good stuff. Well, tell us a little bit about just about your background to kind of let our viewers know where you're coming from. We've had the honor lately of interviewing a lot of people that aren't necessarily in real estate, and we're coming back to real estate, which is definitely our bread and butter and what I'm most familiar with. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I've been licensed since 2005. I was in Northern California for the first 9 years or so. And then we decided to move cross country to be closer to our family. So in 2013, we just picked up and moved from Northern California to Hilton Head, South Carolina, starting over in a brand new market, no name recognition, no leads coming in, no nothing. Was really tough. And after a year, my husband was transferred again. So we went to Atlanta, where I had to start over yet again. And I've never been big into cold calling and calling FSBOs and expireds. And I didn't want to door knock because it's really hilly there. And by the time I'd get to the front door, I was huffing and puffing and all sweaty because it's all humid there. And it was not pretty. So I started blogging. And blogging worked very well, but it's very time consuming. It would take me a good week to write a really good blog post. So I thought, well, what if I made a video instead? That's got to be a lot faster, right? And I could say 3,000 words in a video in no time. So I was just doing it to try to make it faster for myself. And then we moved again. We decided to move to Savannah. So that's on the other side of the state, starting over yet again. But as soon as I got to Savannah, I got a phone call where this man said, we're going to sell our house in New York. We're moving to Georgia. We found your YouTube videos. I've watched all your videos. I feel like I know you already. Will you help us? And so I kind of thought that, he said, I feel like I know you already. When I told him, I'm sorry, I just moved. I don't live in Atlanta anymore. I now live 5 hours away. He was really heartbroken that they couldn't work with me specifically. And it's not because I'm such a great agent or I'd lived there so long and I had so much local market knowledge. It was simply because he'd already connected with me because he'd been watching the videos. So when I got to Savannah, I decided that's it. I'm going to go all in on video because I don't have any business here either. And I've got nothing but free time. So I decided I would make a YouTube video and publish it once a week.
That's awesome. I love that you recognize that, not only, but that you brought that out right away, that idea that when you're using video, people do feel like they know you. Video doesn't change the relationship game, right? It still is about relationships. It's just that people feel like they already have a relationship with you because they're building that know, like, and trust right out of the gate. I love that.
Yeah, it's so interesting that he felt like he was already indebted and committed to working with me, even though I had no idea who this guy was. I mean, the first time I answered the phone, he was ready to sign an exclusive buyer brokerage agreement. I'm like, I'm sorry, what was your name? So it's funny how it's all one-sided, but they absolutely feel like they know you already by the time they contact you. It's awesome.
Yeah, I heard something at Inman in New York back in January about the fact that consumers have said that they would feel comfortable doing a real estate transaction with an Instagram influencer that they had never even necessarily met. But again, it's the seeing the person's face and getting a sense of who they are and hearing their expertise over and over again.
Yep.
Okay. So you decided that you're going to go all in on YouTube. How did you get started? Did you take a course on it? Did you just sort of jump in and figure it out as you go? Or what did that look like, just deciding to jump in headfirst to YouTube?
Somebody in a Facebook group that I'm in had commented that Sunny Lenarduzzi was a good person to follow. So I went to YouTube and I looked her up, and she is a social media strategist. She teaches you how to have a YouTube channel. And I just watched all of her videos, and I basically did everything that she said to do. And then I started finding more and more people because, you know, as you're watching a YouTube video, all these other ones are, hey, you should watch this next.
Yeah.
And I discovered Daryl Eves and Sean Cannell and Nick Nimmin and all these people that are YouTube trainers. And I just kind of said, well, that's a good idea, and that's a good idea, and that's a good idea. And I assembled them all, and I kind of made my own little plan. And I just figured probably 50% of your success on YouTube is being consistent. Mm-hmm. And then the other 50% is being strategic with what the video will be about and titling it so that it will be found. Very little of your success is because you're so great on camera or anything like that. It's really just those two things. If you know what they're going to type into the search bar and you're consistent with your content, that's literally like 99% of the battle right there.
Yeah. So then let's talk about that, the content and consistency. Number one, how do you come up with your content? Are you planning it out ahead of time? Are you building a content calendar? Like, I know you are, obviously you're running a real estate business. You're not just producing YouTube content. Right. And, you know, like we talked about before, you're also a mother. So how do you, there you go, love that. Good shirt for today.
I know, how convenient was that? Well, I wish that I could say I am so well organized that I have my content calendar planned out a year in advance, but I don't. Like literally, I have a notebook or the notes app on my phone. And anytime I have an idea of like, ooh, that'd be a good topic for a video, I just jot it down. And I have a running list. So I used to record one video a week. Then when I started getting really busy, I decided, you know what, if I'm going to turn on the lights and plug in the microphone and do the hair and the whole 9 yards, I may as well record several videos at once. So I try to record at least 3 or 4 at a time.
Okay.
And then it will only take about an hour to an hour and a half. So if I figure for an hour and a half, once a month, I can knock out all of my video content. That's totally doable.
Yeah.
So I just have my running list. And on the day when I plan to record, I sit down and I look at okay, what do I have? Okay, that'd be a good one. And I should do this one. And ooh, that's timely. I should do that one. This one, maybe I'll save it for next month because it would be better in the spring. And I just have the running list.
Yeah. I peeked at your YouTube channel and clicked on a couple of the videos. It seems that pretty much everything you're doing is highly educational. And on the front page of your YouTube, that first video says, you know, I'm going to make you a real estate expert. Now, did you start out that way, just providing educational content, or did it take you a little bit of time to find that groove?
No, I don't know why when I was blogging and then said, oh, maybe I should make a video instead because it's easier. It was always stuff like, how much do I need for a down payment? How do I buy a house using a USDA loan? What's the best color to paint my front door to help it sell quickly? I mean, they were always kind of how-to videos because that's what performs well on YouTube. People like how-to videos. They like inspirational videos, and they like funny videos. So if you can make a video that is telling them something and then maybe it's entertaining as well, then it performs very well on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Do you do your video editing yourself, or did you take that on, or do you outsource that to someone else? Or is that something that you latched onto and figured it out?
At the beginning, I was doing it all myself because I didn't have any money to pay anybody if I had no money coming in, and I had plenty of time. And I'm not a great video editor. Like, I do the bare minimum that's necessary to make the video look okay. But then once I started getting really busy, I started sending it to people on Fiverr. If they'll edit it for me for $11, boom, sold. And so I would just take my raw footage and put it in Dropbox. I'd go to Fiverr and order a gig, and I'd post the link to the Dropbox and say, here it is. It's 15 minutes of me rambling. Can you condense it down to about 5 minutes? And then they send it back when it's done.
Is that hard for you to let go of the creative control on there, or you're happy to have someone?
I am so happy to let somebody else do it. I'm totally okay with it. I have a method for filming where I say what I'm planning to talk about over and over again until I get it exactly how I want it. So my last take is always the best take. And I don't do it in one big long, like I don't memorize the entire video at once.
Okay.
I'll have like, here's my notes, and it's a bunch of bullet points. And I'll look down and say, hey everyone, I'm Karin Carr with Keller Williams in Savannah, Georgia. And today we're going to be talking about how to buy a house with your USDA loan. And then I pause. And if that stunk, I say it again and I say it again. And when I'm happy with it, then I move on to, so what is a USDA loan? I don't know if you've ever even heard of it. I never heard of it until I moved to the South. When I lived in Northern California, there are no USDA loans. So what is it? And then if I stumbled over my words, I say it again. So when I send it to the person on Fiverr, I just tell them the last take is always the best one. Everything that came before it, just cut it and throw it away. And that makes their life a lot easier. And then if you're going to use the same person every single time, they get to know that this is your method. Now it makes their process faster too. So they're happy. They can bang it out in half an hour because you're doing it the same way every single time. And then I would just say, here's my intro, here's my logo, here's my outro. And I would try to use the same person repeatedly so that I didn't have to send them all of those files every single week.
Gets more streamlined.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what are some of the obstacles that you had to overcome jumping into video? Because, I spend a lot of time teaching and training and trying to get people to latch onto this. And it seems like the people jump in face first or feet first and go all in and do it. And then there's other people that kind of drag their feet for a long time and they know they should be doing and they want to do video, but they come up with all of these reasons or there's obstacles to overcome. So I think it would be really helpful for our viewers to hear what some of those obstacles that you had to overcome early on were so they can, the solidarity factor.
Right. Well, at least this tends to be more for women and men, not to like overly generalize, but women seem to be a lot more concerned with how they look on camera and whether they're going to be rejected. Like if people are going to hate the video and say mean things on YouTube in the comments. Yes. So your voice sounds the way it sounds. Unless you're going to go to a speech therapist and make big changes, that's how it sounds. And that's how it sounds in real life too. My voice, the way you hear it right now, that's how it sounds in real life. So don't obsess over something that you can't change. As far as your appearance goes, you know what? If somebody doesn't hire me based on what I look like, I don't want to work with that person anyway. I want to work with people that want to work with me. So be yourself on camera. Be your authentic, real personality. Don't try to be someone that you're not. And you will attract people that like you. They like you for being you. Right. I'm usually kind of goofy on my videos and I make lots of hand gestures and stuff. And so I'm not going to attract people that are extremely serious, that don't have a sense of humor, that are just want dry statistics. Like they're not going to relate to me. Mm-hmm. And that's okay, because I probably wouldn't really enjoy working with those type of people anyway, because our personalities are so different. Instead, I attract people that are very similar personalities. Yeah. When we meet, it's like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? You are now my new best friend. And after we close, we're going to go out and have wine on Saturday night. And I've made a lot of really, really great friends this way, because you just kind of like attracts like. So yes. Be yourself and you will attract people that will like you for you. Don't obsess over the appearance. I mean, yeah, put some makeup on. Don't wear a t-shirt and sweatpants. Don't film in your bedroom where you're sitting on a bed. I don't really understand when people do that. Like if you're a lifestyle blogger and you're teaching about makeup, that's cool. But if you're a real estate agent, you're sitting on your bed, like, what are you trying to like sell here?
Yes, yes.
Be a professional setting. This is where I film all my stuff. It's just my home office. It's nothing fancy. But, and I just try to be real on camera.
Yeah, I love that. I do think the power of video is that you get to be yourself. It's why it's so effective. We hear this. I hear this from guest after guest after guest, that they're more natural human, hey, I'm just being myself videos attract so much more business from them than the highly produced. And you do get to be yourself. When I'm teaching people to do happy birthday videos, I say all the time, if you're super stoic and serious, don't feel like you have to sing a song and put on a party hat.
Right.
Because that's not you. Just be yourself. If you are silly, then be silly. People enjoy that about you. And I think that's the best part about what video does for us, is that it gives you the ability to let who you actually are shine through in a way that a plain image is never, ever going to do.
That was so well said. And I get that comment all the time. I get people that call and say, I've been watching all of your videos. I feel like I know you already. I love that you're a goofball. I love your outtakes at the end. They're so funny. I've never had someone call and say, you're kind of silly. You really should be more serious. Like, they just don't even call because I'm not their cup of tea.
Yeah.
The people that like that about me are the ones that call me. So it's kind of cool that you're repelling the audience that you would not want, and you're attracting the audience that you do want by doing absolutely nothing except just being yourself.
Yeah. Well, and wouldn't you rather know ahead of time if someone doesn't really want to work with you because they don't care for your personality? It's like just saving everyone time all through the whole process.
Amen to that. And as far as if they make negative comments on the video, there are trolls out there, but the beauty of YouTube is that I can delete your comment and I can block you from my channel. So if they say something like one person said, I hate your backdrop. And I said, well, that's my office. So I'm not going to redecorate it because one person said that. So I just left it up there. It's no big deal. But if they said something like, your head is giant, or why is your nose so big, or you're the whitest person I've ever seen, wear some makeup, I would just delete the comment. I don't need to listen to that kind of crap. It's my channel. I can do what I want.
Absolutely. I think that's a good boundaries apply in life as well as in our social media sphere. So you do more than just YouTube. You're pretty active on Facebook as far as social there. Let's talk a little bit about your social strategy. Does it complement your YouTube strategy, or do you do something different on social than what you're doing on YouTube?
I would say that YouTube is my primary focus, because I honestly feel like people are not looking for real estate information on Facebook. Nobody says, I need to get my house ready to sell in the spring. I'm going to go do some research on Facebook. They just do that. So if I make that great video and I put it on Facebook, it kind of goes over like a lead balloon. And I also feel like the metrics are skewed. If it says, oh, you got 1,200 views, they count a view after 3 seconds. So no, you didn't. You did not get 1,200 views. People just couldn't scroll past it fast enough in their news feed. So I like to have real actual views. If you see it on YouTube, it's because you searched for it. Yeah. It's because you watched another video that was a very similar topic and YouTube said you should watch this next. Yeah. You won't come across it by accident. Like, you saw it because you had intent. So on Facebook, yes, I will share my YouTube video. Hey, I just made a new video and this is what it's about. And I share it once a week. That's pretty much the extent of it. I really don't do a lot of video on Facebook just because I don't think that that's where the audience is. Yeah. I think Facebook is great for staying in front of your sphere. If you're new to the area and you don't have a sphere, I just felt like Facebook was probably not where I wanted to concentrate my efforts. Yeah. And so I'm not on Twitter and I'm not on Snapchat and I'm barely on Instagram. I mean, literally YouTube is where I put all my focus.
Okay. So are you posting other things to Facebook other than your videos to kind of keep your page active? So what are you doing on Facebook then that's different than what you're really focusing on YouTube?
Just more, like if you're talking about your business page, I'll share the blog posts that are on my blog. I'll share things that are still about real estate. I don't do a lot of personal stuff on my business page. And then my personal profile is like 80% personal, 20% business. Okay. So I was interviewed on a podcast and somehow I combined YouTube and keyword and I said U-turd, and I thought that was hilarious. So I shared that on Facebook. It's dumb stuff like that. It's stuff that has nothing to do with business. It's about your friends and your family and your kids and all that kind of stuff. And then every now and then you'll say, hey, I'm teaching a class on YouTube. You should. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But do you find that even with, doing mostly personal stuff on your own Facebook and intermixing some business stuff, is that helping you not necessarily drive new business, but at least, keeping your sphere engaged and growing and kind of growing that Facebook sphere?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I had somebody fill out a lead form on my website, and I was like, I recognize that name. Why do I know that name? It was from somebody that was in the mommy group when my son was a newborn, and we would go to the park once a month and meet with all the other moms. And because I'm constantly showing up on Facebook with just random stuff and then occasionally reminding people that I'm a real estate agent, when it was time for her to buy an investment property, she remembered me and she went and sought me out because of it. So yeah, I mean, it's great for just reminding people, but it's never, I used to do this when I was brand new, but I really don't anymore. The humble brag of, oh, Susie and Joe just bought their new house and I saved them $20,000, where it's a post about them, but really it's all about how great you are. I try not to do that. I just think that's so annoying. And like, no other industry goes on the internet and brags about, hey, I did my job today. Can everyone clap for me? It just seems silly to me. So I try to remind them in more subtle ways of what I do for a living without being really boastful about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I do, we get those kinds of questions from people all the time, wanting to know, as far as their social media goes, like how much you should post on your personal page versus your business page. And well, my business page doesn't get very much engagement and I have more people on my personal page, but I don't want to bombard them. Well, yeah, they don't want to be bombarded. If they're not following your business page, it's because they want to know more about your life and not how many houses you sold this month. So I think that's definitely a healthy way to look at it. What kind of gear do you use? This is a question our viewers always want to know about gear.
Always,
what are
right?
you using?
I have a very, very fancy camera and it looks like this. Like seriously, I record on my phone or my iPad the vast majority of the time. I did break down and buy an actual camera with a lens and the whole 9 yards. I've probably used it about 7 times because it's so complicated. It intimidates the heck out of me. So just use your phone. If you've got an iPhone 6, 8 plus, a 10, whatever you got, the camera in that thing is killer. So you may as well use it. If it's going to be, I do have it on a tripod so that it's not wiggly and I don't want to hold my selfie stick and it's kind of shaky. So I do put it on a tripod, and then it's probably 4 feet away from me maybe. And I feel like I'm yelling across the room to be heard. So I do have a microphone. It's a very cheap $20 microphone that you just plug into the headphones jack. And if you, like in my office, the window is over here, you could put the tripod in front of the window, face the window, and now you've got all this natural light. The way I film in my office, the window's on the side. So I do have a couple of lights, and the 2 of them together were like $50. They're nothing fancy. And I just put one here and one here so that I'm trying to get my hands in so that they're both shining on me from each side. So between the microphone and the 2 lights, that was probably $75. And then I already owned the phone and I owned the tripod. If you had to buy a tripod, maybe another $25. So like $100 total investment is all you need.
It's amazing. I love that. For those of you that are creating obstacles to doing your own videos because you want to get a better camera, you just heard it here from one of our video influencers. She uses her phone and a tripod and a $20 mic. I love it. The technology has advanced to a point now where really there's not a barrier. There's not a barrier to doing video if you have a smartphone. It's great.
Yep. And I was talking to somebody the other day that said, I'm hiring a videographer and he's going to follow me around and take all this video. And I was kind of like, well, how much is he charging you for that? And it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars per session. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Like I'm filming in my house with my phone myself. If you want to have somebody else edit it, more power to you. But the actual filming process does not require a professional. You can absolutely do it yourself for free.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think that it plays into so much of what we talk about here at BombBomb, this idea of real and authentic versus the highly commercialized and the marketing pieces. And yes, it's good to have a combination of both. But statistically speaking, people respond to the real and human so much better. Once you start getting, into this high level production with it, people feel like they're watching a commercial. And And
Right,
that's not what we want. We're already over marketed to on a regular basis. That real and authentic. People feel like they're getting to peek behind the curtain and see your life, and not a Hollywood produced commercial.
agreed. And it's like you said, if it's very slick and professionally done, their immediate perception is you're trying to sell me something. But if I'm saying, here's how you buy a house with a USDA loan, who is it for, and what does the house have to be like? I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just educating them, and they respond to that so well. I mean, I can't tell you. I'm probably getting about 3 to 5 leads a week that say they found me on YouTube. And those people convert at a very, very high rate, because by the time they picked up the phone and called you, they'd already decided that you were the one for them. So as long as they actually move, I mean, occasionally they don't move, or they couldn't get pre-approved, or they were going to move to Florida, but then when they gave notice at their job, the guy like said, I'll give you a big raise if you stay. And so they don't move after all. I mean, that happens. But the majority of people, you can get them to sign an exclusive agreement with you very, very easily, because by the time they pick up the phone, it's already a done deal in their head.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get to the point? Because you were starting fresh in a new area and going all in YouTube. And now you said you're getting, a few leads a week from YouTube. So how long did it take you to get to that point? And I know we touched on the consistency at the beginning, but I'd love to just kind of hear your thoughts on where you think how the consistency led to what you're getting right now.
Yeah, the consistency was huge. That really was it. Like, I picked a day of the week that I was going to publish, and I published that day every single week. So it's not like this week it was Monday and next week it's going to be on Thursday. It's every Monday morning at 9 a.m. And I just picked that number, that day, out of thin air. There's no rhyme or reason to it. That's just what I picked. So I published the same day and time every single week. And YouTube loves that. YouTube will totally reward you if you are consistent like that.
That's good to know. That's great information.
I got my first lead in 3 months. It was a come list me phone call. So I started making these videos in June of 2017. And in September, somebody called and said, we've decided to move back to Florida. We're going to sell our house. Can you come and tell me what I need to do to get it on the market? It was a total come list me. I didn't realize that. I showed up ready to convince him why I was the best choice. And when I said, so who else are you interviewing? He said, nobody. We've already picked you. So where's the listing agreement?
Incredible.
So it took 3 months of making a video, publishing it every week, and being very strategic. Like, you don't name it Karen's Vlog episode 34 because no one searches Karen's Vlog episode 34. They're searching, how do I stage my home on a budget? How do I fill in the blank? Like, you've got to title your video something that they're actually looking for.
That's good. I'm jotting that down. That 3 month period where you were posting videos every single week, how did you keep yourself motivated? Not necessarily seeing the direct results of that. And did you know this was going to work, or you were like, I'm going to do this for 6 months or however long to keep yourself motivated? Or what did that look like? Because I would imagine that posting every single week for 3 months and not seeing a result could start to mess with your head a little bit.
Well, when I started, I already knew that it worked because I had gotten that phone call from the guy that wanted to move to Atlanta.
Okay.
That was with no strategy and with no consistency, and it still worked.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, if it works when I'm not really even trying to do it with a plan, how well will it work if I have a plan? So I knew it was going to work. I just didn't know how long it would work. And I was not prepared for how well it was going to work. I thought, okay, I'll get some leads, maybe 1 or 2 a month. And then when people started calling me and going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to you. You're famous. And I would crack up and say, I absolutely am not famous, but I love that you think that I am. And they're like, no, I watch you on TV all the time. I've never been on TV. I've been on YouTube. And for them, that's like seeing someone on TV. So when I answer the phone, they're all excited because, oh my gosh, she answered the phone. I can't believe it. It's really funny. It's like you're talking to somebody on $1 Million Listing. And That is so not the case, but that's their perception.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to work. I just didn't know to what extent. And it has worked so well that I do not cold call. I do not call FSBOs and expireds. I do not door knock. I do not mail out postcards. I don't put ads on Craigslist. The only Facebook ads I run are just listed and just solds, but that's about it. I don't run ads driving traffic to my YouTube channel. I don't have to. They're being found organically. So it's like, well, I don't have to spend the money, so I don't.
Yeah, that's incredible. So from your YouTube channel, you drive them to your website where you do lead capture there, or what does that process look like from someone going from watching your video to actually you having them on the phone?
Well, YouTube wants you to keep people on the platform. It's the same algorithm as Facebook. They don't want you to drive people away. So usually my call to action at the end of the video will be, so now we took a tour of this particular neighborhood. You might want to watch this video up here. And then it pops up and it says, watch this next video. So I try to keep them on YouTube, just watch the next video. That makes YouTube happy. And it also gives me more face time with the prospect, because the more of my videos that they watch, the more they see me, the more they hear my voice, get to know my personality. Now they feel like they know me. So most of the time I try to keep them on YouTube. And then maybe 25% of the time it will be, so now you know what a USDA home loan is, but do you know, I don't know, do you know anything about a VA loan or something else? And, click here, it goes to my website. You can download this free PDF guide. When they do that, they put in their name, their phone number, and their email address.
So value driven.
Yep. Yep.
Value driven, which
totally value driven. You're not ever talking about, I am so great, you should call me, this is why you should hire me, versus Betty down the street. This is the value that I can give to you. Like you don't have to do that on YouTube. It's not necessary and it's not wanted. But if you say, here's the information, let me give you more stuff. Oh, you can go get all this free stuff here. Thanks for watching. And that's it. They love that. And that works really, really well.
Awesome. Awesome. I feel like that's a really, really helpful thing for people to understand how YouTube works, what people are going to YouTube for. I mean, my background is not in marketing. My social media exposure up until, I don't know, a year and a half ago was really just my own personal using social media. And I had no idea that YouTube was actually a search engine. That's what people don't realize, that YouTube is not really like other social media sites. It's a search engine. People go there to search for things. And quite frankly, I learned a lot of that just from my children. Like my children go to YouTube to watch how to do trick shot videos and stuff like that. And that's what people are going to YouTube for. They're going to learn.
Yep. And because Google owns YouTube, if you have a video that's performing well on YouTube, if somebody does a Google search, your video can show up on the first page of Google. They don't even have to be looking on YouTube in order to find your video. So like when our washing machine broke, my husband went on YouTube and said, leaky gasket LG washing machine, and he put in the serial number. And of course, this video popped up and said, yep, this is a common problem. You need to go on Amazon and order this part. When you get the part, come back and watch the video and I'll walk you through how to fix it. Boom, he did it himself and saved us a boatload of money. People are searching for how to blah, blah, blah. One of my most popular videos, not one of, by far the most popular video on my channel is called Moving to Savannah, where I say, if you're thinking of moving to Savannah, this is why you should. This is why it's awesome. Here's what you need to know. When people go on Google and they type in moving to Savannah or living in Savannah or should I move to Savannah, relocating to Savannah, where should I live in Savannah? My video shows up at the top of the search results organically. I can tell you I get a lot of leads from that video. And I posted it. It's been a little over a year and a half now, and it's had 11,000 views, organic views.
That's incredible. Like, well done, Karin.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't even, I'm not trying to grow a business but I feel inspired. I feel inspired by what you've done on YouTube because you've built something incredible from scratch. So that's awesome. I love it. Any closing tips? I'd love to hear your maybe top 3 tips for someone that is wanting to start investing some time into YouTube.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to commit to making the video, put the video where the eyeballs are. And for me, it's just not Facebook. Like when these videos pop up in my news feed, if I wasn't looking to buy or sell a house at that time, I probably wouldn't watch it. So put it where the people are looking, which is YouTube. Next, you're going to do some keyword research. You're going to have to Google like how to do keyword research and learn exactly what that means. What we're trying to do is figure out what are they typing into the search bar and what do I need to title my video so that it will show up when they do that kind of a search. And then make videos to satisfy that need. Don't worry about what you look like. As long as you're presentable, it's good enough. If they don't like you, on to the next. And then my last tip would probably be, it was there and it went right out of my head. Oh, don't worry about all of the technology part of it. Like my first videos are truly terrible. My home office was painted dark brown. The lighting was awful. The sound was awful. I recorded on the webcam on my computer. But because it was a good title, it still has been watched thousands of times. Even though it was really poorly done, I was providing good content, so they forgive it. They'll forgive that your production value is not so great if what you're providing them is valuable information. And then the more you do it, the better you get. So after you've done this 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, you're an old pro. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You will definitely get better.
Yeah, awesome. Great stuff today. I actually learned some things myself about YouTube. So thank you so much for your
pleasure. Thank you.
It's great to have you. Hopefully we'll see you next year in the Video Influencers Guide.
I hope so. And I will see you at Rehumanize.
Absolutely. That's right. You're going to be at Rehumanize. You are on a panel. Is that correct?
Yes. We're going to be talking apparently about like tech tips to help you get started with video.
Awesome. So more of the same awesome educational stuff from Karin at Rehumanize. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to meeting you again at Rehumanize, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was lots of fun.